Hey everyone, this is Sparda 3G for another episode of Sparda's World. We are now on Tuesdays and Fridays, but today is Tuesday's episode. Yeah, this is the first time ever. I'm recording in a different location and I am geared up, fired up, and ready to do this. Alright. This is new. This is brand new to me. It's funny because I believe this place is more quiet than other elsewhere. In fact, I'll be honest. I have been recording from my office on a Saturdays basis. Now, since I'm doing it on the Tuesday and Fridays, I am in fact recording from my home. Yeah, the usual spot. I mean, that is the normal thing to do, right? Crazy enough to do in the office, but hey, that's the easy life I'm having. But seriously, right now, this actually feel like a very nice environment, and I kind of wish I have a soundproof door just in case there's some sound ruckus is coming on to me. You never know. Anything is possible with home, right? Especially when you live in the neighbors. All of a sudden you hear arguments, or all of a sudden they're playing a loud music and whatnot. But we'll see. I guess I have to keep it short and quick before everything gets loud and crazy out here. But it's great to do this on a Tuesday and a Friday basis. Right now on a Tuesday basis. So this is actually a pretty nice, different environmental take on this whole recording thing. I'm happy to do all this because that means Saturdays I could be free for something else. I could start watching animes, read manga, do something else entirely, even, get a free time. I mean, I'm technically work on the Saturdays at this time, so to kill time on a Saturday, why not do something else rather than try to record your own podcast? So this is a really good, environmental work. Yes, home sweet home, you know how it is. But my point is, it just feels like a step up. It feels very comfortable. It feels like I'm in my own zone. And yes, it is a home. So zone, home, whatever. You get the idea. All right, enough about that. So let's just get to this episode. And this episode is going to consist Tokyo Ghoul Read Chapter 26, Fairy Tail Chapter 429, and 430 because, Hiro Mashima just wants to work more and more. I mean, I don't know if they are demanding him to work more, but hey, you don't hear that from Weekly Shonen Jump or any weekly series basis, public magazine. But maybe that's just his decision. He's doing this for a month length. I mean, next week is gonna be a break, but come on, 2 chapters for a whole 1 month length is kind of impressive. Actually, it is impressive, and it's not like the chapter are like stick figures or lack of a lot of backgrounds or character model. It's actually pretty detailed, despite the fact that the first chapter was not that much going on, but there is a lot of art to be drawn, and it's very, it's I can't say very detailed, but it's detailed enough to say, wow, you really are a hard worker. So needless to say, it is impressive. And yeah, we got 2 chapters to cover, and we have Seven Deadly Sins, chapter 123. And lastly, we have Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 39. So, yeah. Now before we get to the reviews, we're gonna talk about the anime news and manga news, whatnot. In case you're wondering, Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of F made 960 million yen in the opening weekends. That's some pretty impressive numbers. It's almost already a billion in the weekends alone. And I don't remember what Detective Conan newest movie made, but it's second. It's second behind Dragon Ball Z. Now, despite the fact that the movie may not be so good or may be good, I'm not sure. The opinions. I see critics reviews, the fans reviews. It is mixed. It's mixed. I can't say mixed to negative or mixed to positive. It's just mixed. It's like a love or hate relationship with this movie. One of my friends doesn't like the movie. And I mean, again, everybody has their own opinion, and maybe some people think that Dragon Ball Z, maybe they're newcomers of Dragon Ball Z environment. They think they're gonna see something incredible plot line or anything, unaware of anything. It's always a different circumstance for these guys. But to be honest, I do believe there's gonna be a majority of hardcore fans of Dragon Ball Z. I mean, we all still have the nostalgic of Dragon Ball Z, and some of us are still curious if this movie would be good, if to be enjoyable, would be reminded the nostalgic days of the younger days, like a dynamic saga and stuff like those. So I don't know. I can't really say these are a lot of newcomers. I mean, everybody's welcome to see the movie, of course. It's just I do believe we're gonna have a lot of mixed thoughts on this movie. It depends how they see it. It's like if they're gonna just see straight up summer action flick with I mean, like lately summer action movies are being more clever, but these days they still name it that way, as in mindless explosion action craziness over the top, but still fun. They're gonna still count as that. So maybe some people would see Dragon Ball Z as that way, that they would actually see the movie enjoyable. Or maybe if somebody tried to see something a little bit more thoughtful in terms of like Dragon Ball Z in younger days, because some people always have some critique on the later sagas, mainly like maybe the Boo sagas. They wasn't fond of that, and they probably want to reenact something else. And plus, it doesn't help if Dragon Ball Z gets some ridiculous moment. I just found out they got this whole Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. I don't even know. It's SSGSS. Something like that. It could be those things as well, especially like a lot of Deus Ex Machina. As I read the spoilers, it's like what is this is a strange plot line. I mean, yes, it's Dragon Ball Z. You're not supposed to think too much. And a lot of people would think this is milking the franchise. This is cash grab all the way. Then that's understandable. So it's gonna be a lot of different opinion on it. And if you have seen the movie, if you actually went to Japan to see the movie or see the premiere in Los Angeles, maybe you see it differently from those guys. I don't know. Point is, the movie was a huge success in terms of opening weekends. I don't know if it continues to last long. I'm not sure how much it can make for the entire run. They're trying to go for 4 billion yen. Can they do it? I don't know. There's a good chance now. They did more than Battle of Gods. I believe 40% more better than Battle of Gods. So, despite what the critics says, if the movie makes money, that's what it really matters. At least to the studio. So we have Naruto Spin-off is finally coming out on officially April 27th. But if you go by the fan base world, we're going to get it in April 23rd. So that means it's finally happening. I don't know what to expect. There's hardly any preview aside the fact that it's going to be 23 pages long. I kind of thought it was going to be more than that. I thought it was going to be like a 30 range, like an intro. But 23, I guess it's okay. I can't brag about it. It's like what many people has been saying. Both so far, Boruto, I'll just call both for now. But I will address Boruto just to make it satisfying for you guys. But not here. That will be in the extras that I will post it on the day of the release. So, heads up for my review and my thoughts on the chapter 1. But that being said, Bolt seems like a running character of a fan service that's supposed to make you nostalgic reminding you of Naruto Part 1, which is fine, but it seems very cheap. But I don't know. You never know. That's judging from chapter 700 and judging from the movie. If you're gonna base on the teaser, it just gives you that idea. I'm not really a fan of those. It just feels like a cheap cop out. It's just, I don't know. But the series has ended. What can you do? It is a spin-off. Not much to say. the series truly ended. It's just doing right now is just trying to have a way to get some little more attention. So whatever. It can't be that bad for the people who hates the series since like in part two days after pain, right after pain, or even by the war arc. I don't know. Point is, I know a lot of people really despise this idea. I know a lot of people despise Naruto, but hey, they trying to do the best they can to get every possible way to cash grab. It's like Dragon Ball Z with the movie. Not like yeah, it's Dragon Ball Z. It's been a while. It'll feel nostalgic, but let's not make a mistake. It is a cash grab. I'll still probably see it for my amusement because I haven't even seen Battle of Gods. I do want to see that still, just for nostalgia factor. Even though the OVA that happened in Jump Festa, I believe 2009, it was a one way to get a nostalgia thing. Even though it kind of was a weak attempt because you only had Goten and Trunks just do the work, and it was just very lighthearted and not such a good way. It's hard to explain, but it's been a while watching that, but overall I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have. But the point is, I haven't seen these movies. It's been such a long time to see Dragon Ball Z, so maybe I would just get to see those for nostalgic factor. I don't know if it will be good in the end, but who knows. But my point is, Naruto is still on his on a role of making money out of the fans by doing all these advertisement and all these merchandises and all these not what if, but the aftermath with these novels and whatnot. So they're trying to do as much as they can. I don't know if the movie would do anything good. I don't know if the movie would do any as the same success as the last. I don't know. You never know. But I know this, that Kishimoto is done with Naruto right after he's done with Boruto the movie. So if you don't like the series, just bear with it for a little while because it'll be done for sure. Well, you got the anime, but still, you'll be done for sure. But then again, you could just always ignore it. So there you go. That's your solution. That's my solution before. But seriously, the point is there. It's gonna last until summer. I'm not sure when the anime lasts to, but when it comes to new material, it will last the summer. I don't know what Kishimoto's future plan is, but we'll see. So there you have it. There you got this. You got Dragon Ball Z made a huge money. A huge success. The Tentacona as well. And Naruto Spin-off is coming on April 23rd, which I will be reviewing on my extras in my YouTube page. So heads up for that. And that's about it. So let's get to the reviews for these new chapters. Tokyo Ghoul read chapter 26. Despite the fact there's no Sasuke at all in this chapter, and I was damn looking forward to it, but let's be real, it's not gonna happen because that is the main event for all of us. I'll be surprised that happened next, but strongly doubt it because the other ones, they're not minor, but in comparison they're minor, but they all are important, and I like that. I like the fact that a lot of them are significant to every single one of them. None of them feel not important. They all feel important for many different reasons, especially when it comes to character development and with the whole progressions on their actions and their ranking powers and whatnot. So I'm liking this. That said, this chapter was pretty damn good. I, in fact, like this chapter more than I would have thought without, with only having one focus. When you really think about it, this chapter was mainly focused on Hyuko squad going against the Period group. So, even that's the fact that we only focus on them mostly. You still have a good beginning and a good ending, especially the ending, which we're going to go to that next. And I am looking forward to how this is going to be handled, especially when that character is such a scary person. Well, Ghoul. Scary Ghoul. But let's get to the beginning. Ure and Suzuya taking down the Ugiri guards, and, they pretty much just ranking up kills and just beheading them and whatnot. And then Ure, he brought up the fact that Takeomi, who is his rival, if you recall from the older chapter, that's his rival since they're both their fathers and in the same squads and rank. So even though he doesn't know what's going on with him, he's not gonna let him get the best out of him because, well, not only this guy's about promotion, but I guess you could say with this is about promotion and outclassing that guy. So a good mix, and I guess it still makes sense to his character, him having that ego of his when promotion. So now he is his Kagune. So of course they're gonna not show it completely because it stops before we even get to see what he can do, especially with that upgrade of his. And we have Masuki, talking about like, not trying to be what you call those, wow, I forgot I forgot the name. For lack of a better word, not trying to be a father, not trying to not just being there and just be a nuisance. There we go. Don't want to be a nuisance. So he's fighting back, and it's nice to see him to actually rise up and no longer backing down and just let the other guys do the work. Now he's doing what he wants to do best, and I don't know if that problem is gonna come in play. It will come in play somehow, but I don't know when. I do believe it's going to happen when the time is really tight, like as in the problem gets worse. Like, I expect that Ayato is going to show up soon. Maybe that torso guy is going to show up soon, too. Right now, they're clearing up the Ogiri's guards. And once they clear it up, they're going to meet Madam up close. I do believe Suzuya might be the one to deal with that. And I think Ayato might be dealing with Ure. So, hey, it'll be a huge promotion taking down a double S rank. I think he's a double S rank. I don't remember his ranking. But the point is, taking down Ayato will be a huge success. It will be a huge achievement. That will be a promotion. That's like it's like a video game. You shoot down the VIP. That's like 2 ranks plus. So we stop there, and now we begin to focus on Hyoko squad. Now Uta is just mocking him by telling him, "Oh, you could cool down with that poker face. You could talk. You could say something. You could scream or anything. That poker face of yours is gonna go." And they actually remarked that he does have a poker face, and it must be very hard to keep that face. I have no idea why he is keeping that face. I mean, he is very monotone, very quiet. He doesn't have that much expression of himself. So I am wondering what is up with him, because he's been spending time with Takeomi and the other guys lately. So I don't know what's up with his situation, especially with Arima, which seems like he has a grudge. I don't know what exactly happened. I kind of guess it has to do with Sasuke or something down the line. Maybe his harshness. Because Arima was pretty harsh. Where if you go back to flashback with the whole, you were too late to give me the weapon. You were like 0.1 seconds. I'm sorry. That seems a hint right there. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, that pretty much conclude that he does in fact hiding something. And we have Roma just attack the investigator from the ground. With her Rinkaku Kagune, which, jeez, man, I really want her to get her ass kicked, but what can you do? It's gonna take time. But yeah, she definitely is a strong person. Not a ghoul to mess with. That's what I meant to say. These ghouls are a person, But yeah, she's pretty damn tough, and pretty much they talk about Period being described as a group of guys who just do what they want, because really we don't know what's their objective or any purpose. They're just there to mess around, I guess you could say. And it seems like that so far. I mean, look at the last chapter of the series 1. You have them, like, okay, well, tragic ended. I guess we should do more, shall we? It's just funs and games for them. I don't know. Maybe it seems that way. Maybe there's more to it. I don't know. But that's how they are. It makes sense. They're Period. They're clowns. Likes to have fun. So, it's interesting. And they record the whole last cleanup. They had a last cleanup, and Ayama was there to do that. So more involvement with him and the investigators with Perry. I do believe we're gonna get more info with Perry and the CCG, which should be interesting because they've been doing that hint from the first series for a very minor way. Like you would never like if you don't pay attention so much, you would miss it. Cause I kind of miss it a little, but I didn't think it would be that significant. But look where we are. It is. So you gotta pay attention to every small details. And then we have that big guy from Period. I think his Gambo. Yeah, he's taking on Takeomi. And Takeomi Quinkwe has just broken off. And then he gets grabbed in the leg. He's about to break it or bites it. And then he just punched back. And then he grabs on him. And then he's like, let go. Takeomi just does not want to let go at all. He's just like, come on, get off of me. I don't like it. And you can see his face. He got that fierce face. He's like, I'm going to break that neck. I was like, my God, this guy is not giving up. So I like this attention detail, though. It tells you this guy means business when it comes to wanting to kill this ghoul. So you have like everybody like stopping what they're doing. He's like, you got to be kidding me. Is he really going to do this? And lo and behold, he snapped Gambo's neck. It's kind of pretty awesome to see that moment, to be honest, because again, it is the way how they lead to that moment, the whole build up from that whole grabble around his neck, and you see that face of Takeomi just have the crazy determination to break the dude's neck, and when he does, it's like damn. So he just did his job, and everybody's so impressed to see that moment because hey, ghouls are supposed to be way stronger than humans, which is true, and Takeomi, he's human, and if they could manage to be more stronger than a normal average human, then they could succeed, and he did it. It's like his father, so like father, like son. Kudos. Then it stops where Uta just gets stabbed by Hiroko, and it looks like that's the cliffhanger for that side of the battle. So we finally end off with the Nutcracker case. Because apparently the Nutcracker has been monitoring, trying to find that 200 million worth of person, and that's Mitsuki, of course. So, hey, she wanted to claim it, she's trying to get him. And then we have Shirazu and the others finally reach that point. And, they would think that Nutcracker is being distracted. But the problem is, she's more smarter than that. But here's the thing. The Shirazu jumped, and you kind of expect that you jump, he's gonna use her Kagane, but of course Shirazu is gonna use her Quinkwe or the Kagane, whatever floats. But the thing is, it came from the ceilings. It's like, oh, yeah. So, ouch. That's badly timing, but I can't blame him because that was something you would not expect since Kagane has been showing off in a different way. You could separate them. You could do it from the ground, and now apparently you could do it from the ceiling. So there's a lot of interesting takes on these Kagane. So she has an S rank for a great reason. This is scary. So now we're gonna start seeing the Nutcracker going against Shirazu, Psycho, and the other guy in a duel. And it left off with the Nutcracker just being scary. It's like, I'd rather not say it in quotes. But you get the idea what she just said when you read it yourself. But yeah, bottom line, this chapter was pretty good. Really, really, really good. I really enjoyed the action. I do want to see Sasuke, but you gotta wait. It's time and patience, Time, when good things comes to those who waits. So I don't mind this because again, with these missions, like you getting the Madam, ending the Nutcracker, and the new mission that apparently came down with Takizawa. All of them mean a lot, and they all connected to those characters. So I really enjoyed this turn of event. And again, the whole period thing. The period being very dangerous group of guys, especially when they come together. Separate, maybe you could have a good chance. Together, they're like really, really dangerous. And of course, we got to know more about Perry. So this is our opportunity to learn more about those guys. So I'm enjoying this arc, and I don't know what to expect the aftermath. I don't know how Sasaki is gonna get out of this one. Like I said, I predicted he's gonna go centipede mode, but time will tell, and we'll see what's gonna happen. Right now, we're gonna focus on the Nutcracker, and I do believe Psycho and Shirazu are gonna finally show off what they got, and hopefully they will do a great job going against Nutcracker. I know Nutcracker is like an S rank, and that's asking too much because they are ranked 3 and they are still rookies, but you never know. If they could do well, they could get a good promotion, they could get a job well done, they could get like a good reputation from Sasaki, whatnot. So I'm hoping for the best they could pull through. So yeah, pretty damn good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Hopefully I don't have to see another nut getting cracked. Fairy Tail Chapter 429. There's two chapter, and part of me, I was actually worried if this guy's not gonna do as much as work. Now, in terms of storytelling for the first chapter, you could argue that's not much work, but in a way, you kind of have to get out of that ground because you can't have all good pace chapter, you can't have all around great chapter, good chapter, fun chapter, fast paced chapter. You're going to have some minor chapter, mediocre chapter, so chapter, and whatnot. So 429 is not a bad chapter, but not much to say with this one, minus the ending. So in a way, the double chapter did in fact help this one out a lot, because if it was a sync by itself, I would just say, what I wanted to say, and that'll be it. And yeah, you gotta wait for next week for one part, which again, this is something you had to get off the ground anyway. So I can't really blame Mashima for doing this part of the chapter. Again, you gotta take out one part, you gotta get rid of one story scenario. In this case, it would be the whole jailbreaking part, with Natsu, Lucy, and Happy being tossed inside there. And then they had to deal with Guma, who's pretty strange. The whole chapter pretty much have them, wanted to get out and start, and has to deal with Gumon with his torture device and all the craziness. This one had to start off with a colored page. It's nice, simple, but it's nice nonetheless. So, we have them talking about Gray, I can't believe Gray would do something like this. It's, it is one of those things you always hear from a lot of series. But, again, the ending does change everything, but let's not jump to that conclusion. So we're going with the whole, I don't think Gray will ever do such a thing, so this is something wrong with him. And then Goma shows up bowing down to no one, so, okay. Strange guy. I guess it's not just his weird talking, it's just him. So we have him, telling them like Gray's not here. They all went out to a town to do the purification ritual, and they were wondering what the heck is that about. It's something that has to do with a sacrifice to bring out Seraph, which is mind-boggling. But hey, that's what they believe. That's scary, especially when it comes to sacrificing the entire town. So that is a terrible situation. And we got him, Gumon, setting up the torture room, and pretty much gonna take on Lucy. So in queue, some fan service shots, that's bound to happen. But again, that's fairy tale for you. But yeah, pretty much you just have him talking about what kind of torture I should do with you. We got the whip, we got the candles, we even got goat licking feet. Weird, but hey, that's the whole point of his character. Everybody dressed that way. He's like, okay, weird guy. And he keep bowing, and pretty much not to tell him to, don't do this. You better tell us with Gray. And Gomon is like, I told you, Gray is in the purification ritual. He's no longer part of you guys. He's not gonna believe you guys. And Natsu goes like, well, it was like, well, if he doesn't believe that, we're gonna believe it for him and stuff like that. And then Guma got annoyed, so therefore the licking stopped. Not from him. The goat licking stopped. Then when he's about to kill Lucy, using gonna cut her in half, and then Gray shows up and frees him. He frees him, well, not to death, but he frees him, and then he's like, oh boy, everything just got ruined. Then he brings out the cell phone, which, it is made by Lacrima, but I'm not supposed to say that into the next chapter, but I'm just going to say it here. So, yeah, there's a new technology device to the point that Natsu don't even know what the heck he's holding. Kind of, no, never mind. You guys are always talking about connection with the other series. You know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you right now, it's just a big giant coincidence. And this is not new. This is something that we've been seeing a lot of time. It just so happened this one does it so simple and does it right. Doesn't mean it's great. Doesn't mean it's better. Well, yeah, you could actually say better. It just does it right. That's it. It's simple. But anyway, point is, Gray is not a bad guy. He's not a villain. He's not in the dark side. He's in undercover mission. And lo and behold, it was Urza that planned this mission. So yes, Urza and Gray are working together. That ends the entire idea of him becoming Sasuke of Fairy Tail. I mean, you can still say that in some ways, but the entire plot line with the I'm joining the dark side, I have no friends, I breaks all the tie, I destroy all the bounds. Oh, let's do the finger holding thing, whatever that whole bond, friendship, force thing they trying to do in the entire Naruto series. Forget about those. This is Fairy Tail. He's doing differently, and we're not having that. I mean, we might have that when Gray finds out that Natsu is the end, but we're not having this kind of storyline, and thankfully we don't. Despite the fact that some mangaka can do this kind of storyline well, it just, well, sometimes it's best to not to try to go for it because you could only hurt your quality, and sometimes the entire priority can shift greatly to that person because you want to make him a good guy by the end or near the end. So it's always a hard way to make this work perfectly, let alone good. So at least he dodged that kind of bullet because a lot of people seems to be kind of irritated to see another Naruto storyline. I'm not sure why. I mean, well, okay, I do know why, but a lot of people was irritated by that, and now everybody seems to be okay with this. Everybody actually feels very relieved that we're not going to have this storyline. Though I would say this, I'm partially disappointed. Disappointed the fact that we won't have Gray going against Gajil. That would have been an interesting fight if you ask me. We won't have him going against Natsu. Maybe, I mean, that's still possible when the time comes. Again, the end could play the whole game. So we'll see what happens. It's a little bit disappointing, but in the end, I feel I'm more okay with the fact that we're not going to have this anti-hero storyline establishment. So I'm okay. I'd rather have this decision. And I know some people are a little bit disappointed, if not completely disappointed that we're not going to have this kind of storyline. I understand that, but again, I really prefer that we just keep it away from that, especially if Mashima may not know how to do it great or may not have to do it just as acceptable. Maybe he could do acceptable, but if he's going to try to do this a very long time, that could be the wrong idea. So, bottom line, that is over. So we have 4:30, and this is where they explain a lot of things. And this chapter is actually pretty enjoyable in my opinion, because now I know a lot of things it seems like a usual fairy tale thing, but I think this one works because this is still getting back together arcs, I guess you could say. This think as beginning of One Piece, where One Piece you start off with having them getting all not back together, but more like getting the crews, the first time ever. So think it's that way, but only getting back together scenario. Because One Piece they get back together in a very quick fashion. But in here, this is like acting like we're getting the new members one by one. But they still establish that they still care about each other. They still care about the guild. They still never want to break that bond they have within the guild. And yeah, it's nice. It's simple. It's nice, and it's appropriate that they actually have a lot of apology to make, and they address a lot of things like, oh, there's something wrong with this. This is a bad idea. For example, with Juvia, when Urza explained the whole plan and how Gray has to be undercover, has to act all bad guy, they leave out Juvia. If Natsu, Lucy, Happy, whoever doesn't explain about Juvia, it would this chapter would have been a little bit something a little bit strange, because you can't leave out something like, wow, you just did something kind of rude. And they established that it is rude because, come on, Juvia just suffer alone in that village, right? And you got to address a lot of appropriate things. I mean, not every single detail, but something that is gonna what the readers wanted to know, how they feel about doing this and that. So it's nice that they address a lot of small details like those. It needs to be every single one, but something like that is something that people would like to, bury the hatchet or get the answer done right away. So in this case, we have the entire explanation of how they all got this all planned out, and how like Gray, speaking of Gray, people, when you go back to the old chapters, you could kind of tell already that. Okay. There's a 50-50 chance. There is no such thing as like a one big 180 right in your face. There's always a 50-50 chance that Gray is either bad or he's undercover. The only way you can find out he was undercover are two major things, at least in my opinion. The major things were when Gray got the weird markings, the darkness marking, the first time in the flashback, when he goes like, I'm okay, it's okay. That's, to me, if he say it's okay, I don't think he's gonna be like, it's okay, I'm gonna keep practicing more and then just lose to the darkness. To me, that's like a good chance to say it's okay, and then that's where he goes, where that's where he get the idea to go to Parasica. I don't know how you say the name, but Lady see, this is hard to say the name. Why do you gotta do this? But yeah, when he decided to go there, because obviously the darkness is getting stronger, so therefore he has to learn how to control it rather than like how to use it. So now for the first 6 months he learns how to use it, then the later half how to control it. It's different. When I say control, as in like don't let it overcome him. Use it as in use the advantage of his power. So yeah, I guess you could say, use it as an offense and maintain his power. So you got that. That's your big clue. The main, actually, the biggest clue is the part where you see the Avatar Guild talking to him. And remember, if you recall correctly, you have him, standing there just hearing everything they talk about, spouting out all the information they learned from Gray. So when they not learning from Gray, but they just get some information from somewhere, and then Gray got upset when they talk about Uter being dead, and he's like, she's not dead, all right. It's like, that's your clue that he's still himself, and of course he has to play the act again by saying, "All I care about the end. No, everyone else doesn't mean anything." So again, that was your main clue. So it's not a cheap way to say this is all a troll. I mean, you can still say it's a troll, but it's not like a really in your face kind of way that Bleach would do. It's more like, well, again, there's a 50-50 chance, and if you get it wrong, it's not really your fault. It's just the other one wins. That's it, because it was planned out, or it has the equal chance of fitting. Again, Gray didn't go after Natsu's. Gray didn't try to kill the Natsu, Lucy, or Happy. He's just there to do his mission. And because of him and her and Happy coming into their guild, everything got to change. So there you go. So I actually upset this more than I thought. So I usually I'll be like, oh, come on. The only thing I'll probably say, oh, come on, is, I kind of want to see a little bit more of Bad and Gray. With the idea with Gray going against Gajil would have been an interesting take. With that said, I don't know how Gajil going to meet up Gray and be like, oh, you're the enemy. Now everything's different. Everybody's going to be like, oh, wait, this is a major mistake. So, in a way, I guess you could say it cheapens the hype between Gajil and Gray. But, what can you say? Maybe something else will happen. I don't know. I don't know how the Gajil, Levy, and the entire council is going to show up and how it's going to make anything different. I don't know yet. And one major question remains is, if Gray is undercover all this time, when exactly does he kill Froach from Sabretooth? Unless you could say they changed the time, because you have Rogue, the future Rogue, and the future Lucy appeared. Everything is altered, kind of like with the Trunks idea when Trunks appeared to that world. Obviously he tried to give him the heads up, but then everything changed because you got new androids. Or they could go for One Piece route, where they could say that they felt like they changed it, but it's not really the fact they really changed it. It's more like that time has not arrived yet. So it's a 50-50 once again to where Mashima wants to take. And I do hope it takes the latter, because I don't want to feel cheap played by just saying like, well, okay, that was never going to happen because we just changed it. The end. I want to be like, okay, that moment is not happening yet. It's going to happen. It's just, that's not it. That's not the time. I'm hoping that's the case, but we'll see. So Urza, she's been planning this a half a year ago, and she got the information from Jirao as well about this whole entire Avatar guild. Being like a cult, being a guild that's doing this ritual in order to bring out Zeroth, even though that's kind of strange itself. That's how they work. And apparently they're only a part of them. I don't know if I read this right, but they said it was only a part of the guild they only infiltrated. So they waited for this whole ritual moment in order to have all the Avatar guilds or all the Dark guilds, whatever, all gather up so they could all strike them down by, I guess just 4 of them. Or you want to count Happy if he could do anything, 5. So yeah, that's the whole plan. They try to wait for the perfect moment. I mean, they had a different plan, but then that's when Natsu, Lucy, and Happy shows up, and now it's kind of different. So pretty much they waited for this right moment, and now they're gonna strike them. Okay. Then again, Avatar seems pretty weak. It seems like perhaps perhaps the characters to have the Team Natsu, the Team Fairy Tail to show off their new strength. I mean, you already have Natsu with one shot on Blue Note. We're gonna probably see Lucy. We're gonna see Gray and Urza, how strong they got. Maybe even Happy, but don't get lucky. But anyway, we'll see. So before getting into the action, Gray finally says sorry to Lucy. He has to put up the act, even though the act was pretty damn on point, because the fact that he says, oh yeah, don't give a crap, I don't care anymore, the fairy tale is behind me. He's a good poker face, I give him that. So at least he apologized to that. Lucy apologized for smacking him, but it's kind of funny how Gray was like, well, I did got smacked by a maid. That's pretty funny. And she was like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's just that, whatever. It's like, well, Gray was like, well, if anything, y'all always going to be considered friends, just to let you know. And she's like, well, that's always good to know. So, they all bury the hatchet. Nice. It's simple. It's simple, and it's nice to see all of them be bygones, And then Natsu got all fired up and got everybody saying I'm all fired up, which is nice. And then we have them, the Avatar Guild, heading to Mambo Town, making them the sacrifice. Jerome apparently got a new nickname to think over. I think this guy's easy giving. And then suddenly the fairy tale attacks them, and lo and behold, we got the old classic fairy tale just doing their things, taking down the army of troops. We have Natsu, being all powered up. Gray about to show his skills after so long trainings. I mean, we got a glimpse of that from the not last chapter, chapter 428. So we're gonna probably see more devastating moves. Lucy probably finally showing off. She went to a star dress mode, Taurus this time, fitting because it is all about strength. So yeah, that should be interesting. Then one guy that was telling Jerome was like, we got a huge problem. This army is getting taken down. It's like, how the council made it here? And he's like, it's just one person. And Urza's just wrecking the crew. Hey, she took down a 100 monsters, so anything is possible. And it's Urza. So you should know about this already. And then you have everybody all regroup and all very nostalgic. Like, again, it's not a mocking to Naruto. So get out of that system. Get out of that in your head, okay? But this was a pretty enjoyable chapter. The first chapter, 429, it was fine. It was not much to say. Had this been an only chapter, I would just say, well, it's kind of disappointing. But, for standalone chapter regardless, it is a fine chapter. The last couple of pages saved it, especially with the whole Gray being not a bad guy. Urza working together with Gray, the whole technology showing off, the whole Lacrima cell phone, yay. And then we have this chapter 430. A lot of be bygones. A lot of sorry, a lot of explanations, the whole nostalgic factor, except nobody's dysfunctional, so we're lucky. And that's about it. It was enjoyable chapters. I give them that. I'm a little disappointed, just a bit disappointed that Gray is not a real bad guy, but hey, a lot of people seems to be very okay with it. Am I okay with it? Yes, I am. Because I don't know if anti-hero villain Gray could be suitable with Mashima. I could be wrong, but who knows? If Gray's gonna fight Natsu, it's gonna be the time when he finds out that Natsu is the end. So at least Gray doesn't need to break bonds and all that mushy stuff, all that cliche stuff. We're not breaking bonds. Maybe the only bond we break is Natsu, but you know what I mean. Point is, he dodged the bullet. Mashima dodged the bullet to have this another charade of anti-hero establishment crap. But maybe he would have done good. Maybe he would have done terrible. Whatever it is, it's not happening. So let that end your nightmare if you're really against that idea. So bottom line, this chapter was pretty enjoyable overall. These two chapters, they were enjoyable chapters. I enjoyed them a lot. Like I said, it has the nostalgic thing. It's a little bit same old, but in this case it works because it's nice to see like all powered up. It has that hey, reunion scene of everybody. What's your new power up? I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine too. Stuff like that. You got that from a lot of series. So in this case, this one works well, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, I do believe in the upcoming two chapters are going to be more meaningful and are going to be more in depth. For fairy tale ways. So. Other than that, I applaud Mashima to actually do these two chapters, and that's a pretty impressive feat of his. So, yeah, I enjoyed them, and looking forward to 2 more chapters. But that is until we have to wait another week, because next week, there's no chapters. It's Golden Week, so, yeah. But other than that, I enjoy what we have, and it's a good way to cliffhanger on a nostalgic factor. The Seven Deadly Sins, Chapter 123. 1, 2, 3. You know, overall, this was a pretty nice chapter. I enjoyed this chapter, and I'm really looking forward to the next chapter because it's flashback time. But, besides that, this chapter was actually pretty nice on its own with a good actions, good interaction with the character, especially with Henderson, since, this guy was a villain, for Christ's sake. So this one is a interesting, good take of the chapter, and I like how this build up to that flashback. So we have him coming back, and of course everybody's shocked to see this guy's alive. I mean, who wouldn't be? Henderson just doesn't want him to die. He's supposed to be dead quite a while ago, but he just don't want to give up. Technically speaking, he was supposed to die. He was about to die, but then Dreadfalls gave him his blood to recover. So yeah, he was supposed to die. So it's not too much of a cop out, I guess. But the thing is, he just doesn't want to die. He just can't stay dead. But who knows? Because this kind of take of his character is going to be redemption. I'm not sure. I don't know how it's gonna go down, but right now these characters aren't so lighthearted with him. Can't blame them. I mean, Grimoire is about to attack him. Then it seems like Hedgerson actually attacked him back, only to find out that Ashen Demon did a huge blast just in time to rescue him. So pretty much Hedgerson is doing more help than good, more help than bad, more or harm. Sorry, but hey, he's trying to show him that he has to work together. And I know they had a bad feud early on, but hey, they gotta change that now because they got an even bigger threat, and that is the demons, the 10 Commandments. But yes, Henderson does tell Grimoire that his father is alive, and he doesn't want to believe him. You can't blame him. I mean, come on, he just saw his father die right in his face. Right in front of his face. Don't you think that's believable enough? It's like, wow, you just asked my dad. So how can I even trust you that he lives? Again, he doesn't know that. Well, he does know, but not really knows. But I guess you could say he's doubt that the idea that his dad has a demon or he's a demon self right now. He's no longer his father. Can't really blame him there. Because, son doesn't want to believe the worst circumstance out of his family member, let alone his father. So, again, Henderson protected him, tells him the truth. When Ashen Demon uses Dark Snow, that one-hit kill. Pretty much, if you touch it once, you're dead. So Halter and Ghoul Thunder attacked him. But again, Ashen Demon is way stronger than the Red Demon, or Blood, and you have him doing the Dark Nebula. So yeah, this is not an easy kill. This is really strong. Thankfully, Ashen Demon isn't as strong as Ashen Demon fused with Henderson or any Great Holy Knight, because you're combining powers. It's like fusion. When it comes to fusion, you combine powers. If you have the right mixture, you could actually be way worse than individual. So in this case, Ashen Demon can be defeated, and it won't be as challenging as fighting Henderson with Ashen Demon itself. So basically, Ashen Demon just did a Dark Nebula. It's like a big blast of radius, and Grimoire did protect them with the whole long shield, and except that he didn't do it on Henderson. Because again, he still has issues with him, which again you can't blame him or anyone else, since Henderson did in fact almost destroy the entire Britannian. So come on, it makes sense, and I do like this. I know Halson didn't like the fact that he didn't protect him, but again, it's hard to let that go. It is a grudge. It's not that far ago. It's not that long ago. It's recent still. So. Yeah, but Henderson is fine. He is strong. He is a Great Holy Knight, so you can't really underestimate him. and then they fight head on. Henderson fights on. Had a nice, good action sequence scene, and then he was about to get either killed or get really, really injured badly until Halser shows up and then protected him. So I wouldn't say this is forgiven, but it's more like he is right. Even though Henderson was a bad guy or was the guy who really killed a lot of people, or still is, who knows? It depends on what their mentality thinks. They do have to work together at this time since they are fighting an even greater foe, and that is the demons and the Ten Commandments. So it makes sense they had to do this. They had to protect Henderson for now in order to get a stronger army. And then Henderson did in fact takes down Action Demon with a purge. It's like a one-hit kill. It pretty much takes the life of it. And wow, that was pretty damn cool actually. But then that raised more questions. That the fact that Gil Thunder's father, Zarathos, it has that same technique. So that makes him question why is that Henderson got that technique. Turns out Zarathos is one of the Drows, as well as Henderson. Henderson was always one of the Drows. And so Zarathos being one of them is actually a surprising event. So it only begs the question, is Dreadforce part of it as well? And the answer is no, because if you recall correctly, he is a half brother of him. So, I wonder if that means that somewhere down the line, the mother the mother is a demon or something else. I don't know, because Dreadforce having a demon is something else, And now we're gonna go to the flashback because again, Gil Thunder doesn't understand this whole situation. The fact that Zarathos was one of the Druids. Sorry. Why did Henderson and Dreyfus decided to kill him? Why they planned to kill him? Why they had to do that way? So Henderson decided to give him the story. And that happened 10 years ago. It all begins with that one mission where they were sent out to go to this place, which pretty much got wiped out from the look of the last page. And that's where it ends. We're going to have a flashback. And you know what? I'm pretty excited for that flashback because if there's anything I learned about this series, the flashbacks are pretty well done in here. And, they have a nice guidance for each of the sins before. So having a flashback with Henderson and Dreyfus should be a very interesting one, and it should be a pretty important one, nonetheless. Maybe we give some little hints of why Merlin did that to Meliodas, because it did happen that day where they had to frame the 7 deadly sins. We probably get more hints on Dreyfus, his demonic side and whatnot. It should be very interesting how this all goes, and I do like flashbacks when it's tell a future story. I wouldn't mind if it just tells his own story in his own timeline that doesn't give any clues for the next future event. But these kind of things you gotta do. You gotta write it well done and whatnot. And so yeah, I'm not complete new to this whole flashback coming from this manga. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm interested in what more information we could learn from this planned assassination and planned fraud. Putting the blame on the 7 deadly sins. It's going to be a really interesting event. So overall, this was a nice chapter. You got a good action scenes, and then you got a lot of good interactions, especially those realistic takes where even though Henderson is back and he is strong, but remember he did in fact attack Britannia, and he did in fact almost took down one, no less. And so a lot of grudge is gonna be there still. And, again, the ending give you the whole flashback. We're going to go to the 10 years ago flashback, finally learn the truth behind Zarathos' assassination. So, yeah, I'm intrigued by where this is going. I know we're not gonna learn what happened to Melendez and the others that once got sliced down by, Galen. But hey, you can wait up for a minute. So this flashback would fill in the hole. Unless we're gonna go back to Bond and King, but let's hopefully stay with the flashback because this is something I'm interested in the most right now. Boku no Hero Academia Chapter 39. If this is one time you want to figure out, should I read this manga? Now is the right time. And really, I'm finally seeing the potential, and it's really, really enjoyable. And it's been, if they're really gonna push this as the new threes, not this whole holy trinity, they whatever the fans made up for Shonen Jump Weekly. Who cares? I don't know. I really never really paid no attention to that thing, but Shonen Jump, they have in fact trying to find a new Trinity, and they're using this series, Black Clover, which I haven't read, and I forgot the other series. It has a strange art, but maybe it's a unique way. But I heard that one is kind of failing, but who knows? Anyway, Boku no Hero Academia, I definitely would say you should check it out right now. It is getting really intense. I admit, for its own kind, it's getting intense and is actually getting to the point that I can see why this series has the potential to be a really, really fun series to read. So again, we have Todoroki. I'm sorry. We have Todoroki going against Deku, and we have him remembering his mother, and that seems to give you the idea that we're gonna have some little flashback panels here and there in this chapter, which it did in fact happen. And it came out nicely because we get to understand about his character and why his character became this way in terms of not using the flame, hates his dad's guts beyond passion, beyond anything you could imagine. And it makes very sense. In fact, I didn't think it would go this route. Okay, I did think it would go this route, but in the way how it's demonstrated, it's pretty damn cruel that I don't know how can I see this guy being redeemed. His father, I mean, Endeavor. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but maybe that's the point. Maybe it would never work out, man. But who knows? So you could see him really irritated the fact that Deku really wants him to bring all he got, but he felt like his father paid him or something because he hates the fact that he's trying to force him to use a flame, which he despised so much, only because it relates to his dad. So then Deku goes head on. Well, first Todoroki went head on, and then Deku was like, all right, fine. You don't want to give it a best shot? Here I go. And this is where he punched the crap out of him right in the gut. And yeah, he really got him nicely there. So first hit coming from Deku. And wow. So again, the art, so shockingly, the art is getting really, really, it's starting to shine really nicely in this series. I mean, early on they were good still. I really like the art, but now when it comes to action scene, these are very, very good ones. It's something about them. It just makes me. It makes me appreciate this so much more. I just don't know. Maybe it's the way how it's demonstrated. Maybe it's the way how it's detailed, the punching, the effects of getting attacked by something that's very lethal. Like, I don't know who's gonna take over the anime. I'm sorry, I don't know what anime studio is gonna take over this series. But I don't know if they're gonna bring any justice to this whole scenario. But if they do it right, maybe they could finally capitalize to get another series that could give them 1 million sales, could give them popularity, people talking, movies, and the whole 9 yard. They want something like that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan to make them popular and try and milk the hell out of it, but when it comes to just trying to demonstrate why it's good, why it's enjoyable, this is it. This is the right time. And again, when it comes to anime, they are about advertising the manga. So doing this animated scene will do it a lot of justice. So again, he hit Todoroki, and even though Deku is beat up technically because his hand is pretty much gone, he still got the better out of him just because he laid a blow on Todoroki, which Todoroki couldn't do. He only forces Deku to damage his hand. That's it. So the fight goes on, and Deku again telling him that his power of ice is already weakened. So you're gonna continue ice and get weakened and lose, or you could use your fire and try to have a better advantage to beat him. So now it's strange that Deku is doing all this because it's weird. Since if he could just not force him to use fire, he could win this match. He couldn't. He could sacrifice only minimum cost of his fingers, or let alone his hand. But instead, he's persuading him like he wants this. It's strange, but people, guys doesn't understand this. It's like why he's doing this. All Might is like, what is driving that boy? Like, what is making him motivated so badly to have Todoroki go all out on him? Why isn't that the complete opposite of what you wanted to do with your opponent? And you can't blame him. We can't blame anybody. But again, it's not Deku being an idiot. He's thoughtful. He's being reasonable. And obviously, he always have a reason behind this. And of course, he just want to see Todoroki, open up and stop being stuck because of reputation of the father, or being like, oh, your power is coming from your father. Therefore, if you use that power, you're using your dad's, and you're pretty much connected to your dad. Instead, it's all about the fact that all the new generation, they get their powers from their parents or whatever. It's about establishing your own self. It's because even though you got it from your parents, this is your power still, no matter what. So now that the fight is getting more even, and a lot of craziness with the smash, with the whole one for all power blasting the ice away. Again, this is the whole one for all is perfect against the ice user because it could just shatter the entire ice easily and it just backfires the user. For fire, I guess you could say the wind, but we'll find out soon. So yeah, Todoroki keep questioning why he's going so damn far for all this thing. Why he's doing all this. Why he's trying to make him, trying to make him use the fire power. Why he's trying to make him use 100% of his power. And he's telling him, I wanted to be to answer that. He wanted to be a super cool hero. He just wanted to live up to the expectations. Stuff like that. Instead of like, oh, I got a handicap because this guy don't want to use fire. Instead, he wants to use the best. He want to beat him at his best. So if he beat him at his best, then that means he's a super cool hero. Live up to the expectation. Everybody's giving everything with their gun. And, Todoroki is starting to understand this. Well, not really, but, it's getting to him more and more. But he don't want to face that fact because, again, the flashback, which shows like in a couple of pages later, is where we start to learn why Todoroki doesn't want to use his father's power. And pretty much his father is an asshole. He's very strict. He's very he's an asshole. He forces him to do a lot of work, and even when he's 5, he's like, yes, that's my point. He's already 5, so that means he should be strong. He should be damn good. He should stop slacking and freaking fight. So again, way too harsh. All because he just wants to make his son to be better than All Might. And if be better than All Might means he's better than All Might. It's ridiculous. It is nonsense. And this guy, I don't even know. You just want to punch him for that. And it makes it worse, the fact that he does it to his family. Like, he does it to his son, but he also shut his wife up. Like, his wife is nothing but a scrub. It's horrible. So more and more he gets pissed off, Todoroki, because again he's being reminded of his days where his childhood was at its worst, with his father being so damn strict, him crying to his mom, not want to be his dad. It's like, geez, man, he bullies him, he bullies his mom. It's again, this guy. I don't even know how he still got this whole heroic license thing. Come on, this guy. So pretty much they still fight on, but again, the flashback is the main point of this chapter, and then you have him looking at his brothers. You know, he's there like they're different. They inhabit a different world from you. In other words, you can't hang out with them. This is again very strict dad, very asshole of him. And then it gets worse when his mom don't want him to do this anymore because it was reminding his dad is getting weirder, and she just wanna escape from him. It's terrible. And then the expressions from the art expression from this, he gives the idea that she's already lost it. She lost it. She don't want to deal with this. She is frightened. Her mind isn't there anymore. Her mind of carrying her son is gone. And then it gets worse where you learn that she injured him, and then the fact that she injured him, the Endeavor, freaking took her down, pretty much beat the hell out of her and made her sent to the hospital. My God, this is hell. This is crazy. And all this happened because of that, because of Endeavor. So then, therefore, now he just hates him. He hates him because all this. He hates him for making him hate him. He hates him for giving him a horrible life, for making him train when he's only 5 years old. He hates him for isolating from the world outside, even including his brothers. He hates him for making mom lose her mind. He hates him for actually beat up her mom just because she beat him up, or the fact that she attacked his left eye. I don't even know. I like this though. That's the sad thing. No, but I really like this. I really like this whole backstory of his, because it goes to show you that this whole superhero can go to a different route and could make them look like a real total bad people, and without being like a a bad guy, like a villain, like a full-fledged villain. A hero can be bad still. So I like this direction of the story. And then again, Deku telling him, no matter where you come from, that power, whatever you inherited, is yours. So it doesn't matter where you got it from, it's yours. And then he reminded from the days where All Might made a announcement, made a speech that's saying like, you still want to be a hero, right? For I am here. See, it's okay. You aren't a slave to your own blood. You can't become the man you want to be. So then that's where Todoroki finally understand what he truly meant, what Deku meant, what everyone was trying to, well, not everyone, but what Deku and pretty much All Might and indirectly trying to say, that everybody is on their own. Everybody should not think, oh, I got this power from my dad, so therefore everybody should see me as my dad's successor. You should be seen as, everybody should see me as me. And then we finally had Todoroki go all out, and he finally used his firepower. And of course, Endeavor is happy as hell, that bastard. And that's where it ends, looking really cool with that fire. And pretty much, he wants to be a hero. He's going to be a hero. He's determined to be the hero. Deku, he's like, all right, let's do this. And that's where it ends. And you got the chapter title right at the end, The Origin of Todoroki's Shoto. And that's how it ends. And I damn enjoyed this chapter. This chapter was really fun. Really, really cool. No pun intended, because they ice. But I just like the fact that the intake of hero not being fully villain, but just being an asshole themselves. Endeavor, again, he really wrecked his life up. And I can't blame Todoroki from all this, not using his dad's power. It makes sense, and I understand the whole thing. And the action scenes are really good. It really starts to shine it's starting to show its potential, which I was waiting for a long time. Well, not really a long time. It's still like chapter 39. There's a lot of fun stuff in the previous chapter, in the early chapters, But now we got to the fighting, the action, the battle one. You only got a glimpse the battle one from All Might and the villain, the first introduced villain. So here, this is the case of other characters like Todoroki, Bakugo, Deku, and so on. So I'm really enjoying this. This is finally showing its peak. It is showing its potential, and you should pick it up. I truly recommend. The art is really good too. It's really really good. When it comes to the action scene, they really shine. It's strange because you got I mean, you get the idea that the art can be really good. Like, oh my, he stands out differently when it comes to the other character. And then you start to see more characters start to stand out on his own, especially the villain when they first introduced. It's very detailed and nicely art designed. So, yes, this was a really enjoyable chapter. I do believe you should start picking this up and start reading it and start to see what's so good about it. It is getting popular in Japan. That's good to know. It's coming up in the United States, and it probably get really popular because they probably remind them of the Avengers, the Marvel superhero comic books. So maybe it has a good potential to, pretty stand out from a lot of series. So, this is definitely this is definitely worth checking out. And yeah, I can't wait for the next chapter. I do believe the next chapter might be the end of the fight, but I do believe the next chapter also is going to show more cool action scenes and a lot of, really great display of triumphant and determination from these characters. I'm hype. And that would do it for my Tuesday's episode of Sparda's World. I hope you enjoy my reviews and pretty much the entire episode itself. I don't know if I did my best. I'm probably got carried away. I probably try and resist myself because I am at home and I'm trying not to make it loud. But maybe I'll get adapt to my surroundings and maybe I will stop being nervous around no one. I have nobody here, but you never know because I don't want to be like talking normal and then all of a sudden you got somebody saying, "Hey, keep it down," whatever. I don't know, but I'm gonna get used to this. This is new to me. I'm going to get used to the environment. Just when I got used to the whole podcast, now I gotta get used to the environment. Great. So in due time, but I do hope you enjoyed this episode. You could leave a comment, subscribe, and pass down to everyone else. Spread the words. Give them a chance to hear me out and whatever. Hopefully, I did my job well, and we're gonna have another episode on Friday. We're with One Piece, Bleach, and something else. I haven't decided anything else. I'm thinking of reading Magi or Magi. Is it Magi or Magi? I'm thinking of reading that. I hear a lot of good things about that series many times, so I'm gonna get a head start on that. But there's over 300 chapters. I don't remember, but I gotta start reading them or even watch them too. So yeah, I'm probably gonna fill that in the void. Maybe I'll put Haikyuu. I know you guys are not that much of a fan of sports. I am. I do like sports manga a lot, but I'm not sure if anyone else truly cares. I mean, I never know. I don't know. I didn't know Gintama was that popular. Seriously, I did not know. So I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. We all can be wrong. So yes. Thank you for enjoying the show. Thank you for staying by. I hope I see you next time for Friday's episode. And I hope I did a good job, more or less. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.